Change of human emotions. That story next on NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back right here at 6.
Late-breaking news tonight. Former Senator Bill Bradley interrupts his presidential campaign for treatment of an irregular heartbeat. The spy games. After a long and sometimes clumsy chase, finally an arrestable Los Alamos scientist. But is it less than meets the eye? And more tonight on how the Russian planted a bug deep in the heart of the State Department. In depth tonight, the 6-year-old Cuban refugee. New legal action to block his return to Cuba and his father. That's now an issue in the race for the White House. And future shock. How this amazing little guy seems to really know how we are feeling.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. There's a late-breaking development tonight in the race for the Democratic presidential nomination. Former Senator Bill Bradley broke off his West Coast campaign tour for treatment of an irregular heartbeat, what his doctor calls more of an inconvenience than a problem. Nonetheless, it does come at a critical time for the former professional basketball player. NBC's Ann Thompson in Chicago tonight has been tracking the Bradley campaign.
Bill Bradley on the campaign trail in Sacramento this morning, laid back, unhurried, his usual style, joking about the cold.
Pleased to be here and listening to these beautiful chimes while I'm freezing. Maybe the chimes will warm me.
What the 56-year-old Bradley didn't say is that an old health problem had come back, an irregular heartbeat. Aides say he first detected it yesterday evening. He thought it would correct itself, as it had during the past 3 years. But today, after 2 fundraisers, a press conference, and a meeting with supporters, Bradley decided to seek treatment.
Due to illness, Senator Bradley, unfortunately, has had to cancel the rest of his schedule for today.
Bradley dropped off the campaign trail to undergo a cardiovert, an outpatient procedure that restores the heart to its normal rhythm. Tonight, the Bradley campaign anxious to get the word out that despite this health problem, their candidate is in excellent health.
I would note last that it is the same condition President Bush had while he was in office. So it's not uncommon.
Tonight, the campaign released the results of a physical exam earlier this month that show no other health issues and handed out a letter from Bradley's cardiologist that describes the condition as an inconvenience rather than a problem. The medical name for the problem is atrial fibrillation, something that affects 2 million Americans. Bradley, an outstanding basketball player in his youth, excelling at Princeton, winning an Olympic gold medal and 2 NBA championships with the New York Knicks. But the problem didn't surface until many years later, detected by doctors in 1996 while he served in the U.S. Senate. Aides say he's been on medication since 1998. Today's development, a detour on the campaign trail. Communications Director Anita Dunn says Bradley will spend tonight in a California hotel, then resume his quest for the White House, traveling to Florida, where on Sunday he will deliver a speech to that state's Democratic convention. Ann Thompson, NBC News, Chicago.
Now, out of 2 espionage cases, one that turns out to be a great deal less than originally advertised, the other that turns out to be a great deal more than a routine Russian spy yarn. First case of Wen-Ho Lee, a scientist at the top-secret Los Alamos laboratory. When his case first broke, there were dark rumors that he was handing off America's greatest secrets to China. Today, finally, the FBI came up with charges, and they fall far short of the original suspicions. NBC's Claire Shipman has more on that story tonight. Claire?
Tom, a few months ago, this scandal was, in fact, given the billing of a Soviet Cold War spy saga. Today, it has finally come to an indictment, but authorities cannot prove that Wen-Ho Lee spied for the Chinese. However, they do accuse him of mishandling a, quote, staggering amount of nuclear secrets. After a 4-year investigation and a 10-month-long public scandal, the FBI arrests Los Alamos scientist Wen-Ho Lee at his home today, indicted by a federal grand jury for downloading nuclear secrets from a secure computer at his lab.
Wen-Ho Lee first unlawfully acquired, tampered with, and removed large amounts of secret, restricted data.
Lee has been indicted on 59 counts, including 10 that fall under the federal espionage statute for the unlawful gathering and retention of classified information. One federal source says the secret information he transferred onto tapes that are now missing, includes everything any country would need to develop a formidable nuclear weapons program. Lee's lawyers called the accusations groundless and based on political motives that are suspect. Federal authorities had hoped to prove Lee was involved in an alleged theft of nuclear warhead secrets by China. He was fired last March, and agents have followed his every move for months, even trailing him on his fishing outings. Their investigation sources say turned up no evidence that he gave any secrets to China. But authorities did discover that, starting in 1994, he improperly transferred thousands of computer codes, nuclear weapons design and test data, to an unclassified computer and onto tapes that authorities say they can't find. One U.S. official called it, quote, the worst abuse of classified information in U.S. history. The decision to indict came at a high-level White House meeting last weekend, attended by Attorney General Janet Reno, Energy Secretary Bill Richardson, FBI Director Louis Freeh, CIA Director George Tenet, and National Security Advisor Sandy Berger. The reaction from China today...
This case has nothing to do with China.
Lee insists he only made the computer transfers to guard against a computer crash. Experts say today's indictment will not yield any quick answers. If convicted of these charges, authorities say Lee faces 10 years to life in prison. Lee's lawyers say the government has no case. They intend to begin a massive PR and legal battle next week. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Clark Shipman tonight at the White House. And while the FBI was staking out Lee's home for months, someone was planning a Russian bug, a listening device, right in the heart of the State Department. And although it's now been discovered, there are serious questions tonight about how it got there in the first place. More important, what it picked up. Here's NBC's Pete Williams.
At the State Department today, officials now trying to figure out exactly who used the high-level conference room as they search for witnesses to help answer how the Russians so skillfully hid an electronic bug that could transmit conversations to a waiting spy outside the building.
The process of investigation has shifted, and they are now interviewing people in order to determine or develop leads in the case.
Investigators say the bug was concealed in a section of wooden chair railing like this, common throughout older federal office buildings in Washington. And authorities tell NBC News they now believe the bug was planted in a piece of hollowed-out railing made to match the kind used in the conference room, then carried to the State Department and carefully swapped for an existing piece in the room. Federal agents say the electronic bug had several batteries for extended life and a tiny microphone about the size of a printed period. And even though the bug was found on the building's 7th floor, where top officials have their offices, the Secretary of State today says it was not close to where she works.
This was not near my office or in the most sensitive areas of the State Department. It was on the same floor, but at a totally different place.
Becoming suspicious over the summer about why a Russian diplomat was loitering outside the State Department, officials say they found the bug by doing an electronic sweep, using a device similar to this one to detect radio transmissions. As Russia's embassy prepares to expel the diplomat accused of operating the bug, intelligence experts say the Russians are likely scrambling to shut down any similar devices they might have hidden elsewhere in Washington.
They're probably conducting a bit of an inventory to see what, if anything, is out there, and if possible, retrieve it, turn it off, do all the logical things to minimize further finds.
Intelligence officials say planting bugs, a form of spycraft known as close attack, is a Russian specialty. During the Cold War, the U.S. said it found a bug hidden in a carved replica of the official U.S. seal in the American embassy in Moscow. And a U.S. diplomat in Romania claimed the Russians put a tiny transmitter in a shoe he sent out for repair. An intelligence historian says the Russians have never let up in their spying on the U.S.
Well, the spying hasn't noticeably stopped. In fact, there's some indication that it's continued at least at the same level. And their military intelligence, for example, I'm told, is very active.
In the case of the State Department bug, American officials actually did a little counter-spying, using the bug to plant some misinformation before they shut it down. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
Still ahead tonight, NBC News in depth. tug of war. New developments in the legal battle over that young Cuban refugee as the rhetoric is heating up again between Cuba and Washington.
The child is not a political football. This is a 6-year-old boy, and his interests will guide the decision makers.
What will happen to this youngster caught in the middle between Cuba and the U.S.? That's tonight's in-depth report. And another deadly military accident, the second in 24 hours. We'll have the latest information up next.
Where will you be when your grandson gets his first taste of the ocean? When man walks on Mars? When your children want to discover their heritage? Life is filled with moments you don't want to miss. That's why if you have high cholesterol and heart disease, you should know about Zocor. Zocor is proven to help save lives by reducing the risk of a heart attack. So where will you be tomorrow? That could depend on what you do today. When diet and exercise aren't enough, talk to your doctor about adding Zocor. Zocor is a prescription medication and is not right for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems, because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Zocor, and about any medicines you are taking. For more information, talk to your doctor or call. Zocor, it's your future. Be there.
We're picking up our CEO.
Fortunately, the company cars have OnStar.
We swerved off the road and boom, the airbags go off.
There was a deer.
I never saw it.
Seconds later, an OnStar advisor calls and says, I just got a signal, your airbags went off, should I send an ambulance?
We were fine, but she called for a tow truck and a limo.
Good thing I called OnStar.
OnStar called us.
Oh, right.
The one-touch connection to people who can help.
OnStar.
Call 1-800-OnStar-7.
I was one hurting cowboy. Heartburn hotter than a blown engine. And pain? The antacid I took didn't do the whole job. And Pepsi takes so long. Then I tried Alka-Seltzer. Man, if it didn't work a whole lot better.
Alka-Seltzer, the only one with the medicines to relieve all your symptoms.
Boy, it works fast.
And only Alka-Seltzer has the effervescent power to speed relief.
Alka-Seltzer. Made a believer out of me.
Get better relief.
New tonight at 6, heroin use is a growing epidemic in Portland. Now, county leaders are taking action to stop this deadly problem. A look at solutions tonight at 6 on Northwest News Channel 8, where the news comes first. Joe Satilli, weeknights on Northwest News Channel 8.
Central on NBC.
Two accidents half a world apart have left 10 American servicemen dead in the past 24 hours. President Clinton said today both incidents are reminders of just how dangerous military service can be, even in peacetime. More tonight from NBC's Jim Eklashevsky.
After an all-night search and with little hope of finding any more survivors, the military is expected to call off their rescue mission 26 miles off the coast of San Diego as early as tonight. 7 Marines are still missing after their helicopter crashes into the Pacific during a routine training exercise yesterday. At Camp Pendleton today, the Marines' home base, flags are already lowered to half-staff as the painful reality sinks in.
Whenever a Marine goes down and everything, is like, it touches all the films, it touches all Marines, and it's a shame to us.
It's part of the training. It comes with the game. It's horrible, but it happens.
18 Marines were on a routine training mission flying in a Sea-Night helicopter, preparing to launch a simulated attack on a Navy supply ship, much like this training video when the crash occurred. The Navy has a videotape of the accident, and military officials who have seen the tape tell NBC News what they saw. As the helicopter comes down toward the ship, its left landing gear gets caught in a safety net on deck. Military officials say it's unclear whether the pilot knows the gear is snagged, but as he tries to lift off, the net pulls down one side of the chopper. It jerks violently to the left, tumbling over the side into the water, where the chopper quickly sinks. Aviation experts say even with intensive training, escaping from a submerged helicopter is near impossible.
Even if you know you're going into the water, just the sheer speed of the rollover tends to be disorienting.
Miraculously, 11 Marines free themselves from the chopper and are rescued. It's believed the 7 others may still be trapped inside the sunken wreckage. Only hours later, nearly halfway around the world in Kuwait, another fatal U.S. military crash. An Air Force C-130 tries to land, but hits the runway so hard, it's forced to take off again. Now, with a damaged landing gear, the plane makes a crash landing and bursts into flames. 3 airmen are killed. In both accidents, the pilots have survived. That should make it easier for investigators to determine exactly what caused the crashes. But military sources tell NBC News the initial investigations are focusing on human error. Jim Miklashevsky, NBC News, the Pentagon.
We go overseas now, where Russia does appear to be backing away from its ultimatum to the people of Chechnya earlier in the week. They were told to get out of the capital of Grozny, the rebel province, by tomorrow or face a massive assault. But now, at least one top Russian official says Saturday is not a final deadline. It's estimated some 240,000 people already have fled Chechnya, and today in Oslo, Norway, the winners of the 1999 Nobel Peace Prize issued an urgent appeal on their behalf. As Doctors Without Borders accepted its prize, the International Relief Organization called on Russia to, in its words, stop the bombing of defenseless civilians. Back here on Wall Street, stocks were higher across the board today. The Dow was up almost 90 points. The Nasdaq gained a little more than 26 points. That's another record close. For the week, then, the Dow lost about 61.5 points. The Nasdaq for the week was up a little more than 26 points. Up next, NBC News in depth. Tug of war. New developments in the case of the 6-year-old Cuban boy in Miami. Will he stay here or go back to Havana? And later, talk about high technology. How about a robot with feelings? Seeing is believing.
No, he doesn't like this one.
It's time. Time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
The Spot Lifter is Bissell's Wash It Down, Lift It Up, Get On With Your Life cordless deep cleaner. Life's messy. Clean it up.
Professor, tell us about your discovery. Absolutely. You can get all your long-distance calls for under $1.
How is that possible?
Just dial 1010-220. It's only 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes and just 9 cents a minute after that.
When do you get these rates?
Every hour of every day.
And no monthly fees.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, no monthly fees.
I told you they'd love it.
Dial 1010-220.
In this life, there's just no stopping. No break for a hacking cough. No rest for a raw, sore throat. Ache, fever. But when you're desperate for relief, there is TheraFlu. Fast, powerful, hot liquid therapy. With the first sip of that soothing hot liquid, you feel relief is on the way. Soon your throat is soothed, your cough calmed. Maximum strength TheraFlu. Now in new honey lemon chest congestion and cough. Instant comfort, powerful relief.
Before I quit smoking, I asked my doctor, is Nicorette safe? And he said, of course Nicorette is safe. Smoking is not. Nicorette has been proven safe and effective in dozens of clinical trials. And Nicorette offers the Committed Quitter Support Program, which my doc said is clinically proven to increase my chances of success by up to 50%. And when he told me that only Nicorette comes in mint, I knew that that was the right choice for me. So I took my doctor's advice, and you know what? It worked.
You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Sunday, John McCain and George Bush, the race titans. Who would be the better president? Also, what secrets did Russia learn at the State Department? If it's Sunday, it's Beat the Press.
Start the millennium with NBC News.
NBC News in depth tonight, a child's fate. There are new developments in the case of that young Cuban refugee at the center of the legal and diplomatic struggle between the United States and Cuba. It's been 2 weeks now since Elian Gonzalez was found clinging to an inner tube off the coast of Florida. He was one of 14 who had set off for America in a boat. 11 drowned, including Elian's mother and stepfather. Tonight, new legal steps to keep him in America. NBC's Andrea Mitchell remains in Cuba tonight. She reports now in depth.
Today, for the first time across the entire country, public pressure. Hundreds of thousands marched, demanding the return of Elian Gonzalez. So far, no violence, but officials say that could change quickly if negotiations for the boy are delayed by legal challenges in Florida. There today, lawyers for the boy's Miami relatives officially filed papers demanding he be given political asylum.
I would say certainly he should not be removed from this country until he is given a full and fair hearing.
A process, he says, that could delay any deportation for weeks, even months. The boy's future is also now swept up in the U.S. presidential campaign. Republican John McCain visits Miami's Cuban-American community today.
I would urge President Clinton to make it clear that under no circumstances that this young boy should be condemned to a life of communist oppression.
The administration insists this is a clear-cut case of law, not politics.
The child is not a political football. This is a 6-year-old boy, and his interests will guide the decision makers in this case above anything else.
But many Democrats are also seizing on the issue. Senator Robert Torricelli of New Jersey, a state with many anti-Castro voters, visits Elian and his family, threatens to block any claim to the boy by Castro's Cuba.
Mr. Castro, if you are listening, the mob cannot get big enough. You cannot shout loud enough to overtake our Constitution or our statutes.
Castro is listening. Cuban officials say he has been staying out of sight deliberately, does not want to upset the delicate negotiations over the boy. In fact, thinks that Bill Clinton is trying to act in good faith. While the crowds build outside, inside the American mission, U.S. officials tell Cuba the father can easily prove his rights. And U.S. officials say it would be very unlikely that the Miami relatives would win an asylum case. They would have to prove that Elian would be persecuted if he returns to Cuba. Hardly true. He is already a national hero. His classroom now declared an official museum. His desk a shrine to schoolchildren from across Cuba. But the U.S. also told Cuba it cannot promise an immediate return if the father cooperates, because of the new legal obstacles from the boy's American relatives. Tonight, the next move is up to Fidel Castro, who must decide what to do if he cannot deliver on his promise to get this child back. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Havana.
I'll be right back.
You know how much Grandma wanted to be here for your first Christmas? You see, Grandma lives way down here, and you live way up here. Brian, your cousin, he's a little bit older than you. He lives here in Chicago, and your Aunt Lisa lives here in Baltimore. Uncle Ernie? Way out in Hawaii. Oh, but don't you worry. We'll always be together for Christmas.
Being together is the best part of the holidays, and Cheerios is happy to be part of the family.
You just ate Dallas.
I'm the Black & Decker floor buster. I eat broken glass for breakfast. I eat cat litter for lunch. Let's just say I have an insatiable appetite. I'm the floor buster. I'm built by Black & Decker.
Who would you like to call? Frank?
The Samsung Digital Wireless Phone featuring internet access and voice-activated dialing. Flip the phone, shout the name, and Samsung dials the number. Samsung Digital. Everyone's invited.
You know my friend Mr. Moretti. He worries about the arthritis pain in my hands. So he came with me to the doctor. Now I am on a wonderful treatment.
Tylenol Arthritis Extended Relief. It works as well as the leading arthritis prescription, but is much gentler to your stomach.
Mr. Moretti says I have beautiful hands.
Tylenol Arthritis. Take comfort in our strength.
Don't get that, Frank.
Hello?
Baxter! New Meow Mix seafood middles. Mackerel and tuna flavors make it taste so good. Cats ask for it. By name.
When we asked some denture wearers why they don't use an adhesive, they didn't have a lot to say.
Don't need it.
My dentures fit fine. No problems here.
But after we gave them Fix-A-Dent, they just couldn't say enough.
Amazing, the difference. It's a great new feeling of security.
Comfort.
Confidence.
I just plain forget I have them.
That's because Fix-A-Dent adjusts to the unique contours of your dentures and gums, forming a thin, powerful seal for a better hold than you ever thought possible.
I could just kick myself for not doing this sooner.
Find out for yourself what it feels like to Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
He attended all the right schools. He made all the wrong friends. John Gotti, A Life of Crime. Headliners and Legends with Matt Lauer. Tonight on MSNBC.
Journey through the vast Arabian desert. Feel a scorpion sting. And scan the Rockies for a man-eater. Explore this weekend on CNBC.
The next time you're tempted to say that someone has all the personality of a robot, reconsider. No, this is not one of those cute little George Lucas robots from Star Wars, although they did have something to do with it. From Star Wars to MIT. Here's NBC's Roger O'Neill.
Look over here.
It could be those big baby blue eyes. Maybe the wiggly pink paper ears. Surely not the rubber lips. Whatever it is, one look and you're hooked. An adorable contraption of metal, wires, and computer chips reacting to what it sees. Cynthia Brazil built the robot called Kismet.
What I'm really trying to explore is how can you get the robot to use traditional social cues that people are used to allow you to interact with this robot in a natural way.
Already, when you smile, it smiles. It's as if the robot understands, not just simple commands, but the complex set of human emotions.
Now it's doing an annoyance look. Okay, we're back off.
And it responds appropriately, like a human.
Okay, now we're happy again.
Could it be thinking?
Now we're happy again.
All this going on at the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT.
It's a big, scary toy.
Cutting-edge research to make Kismet behave like a human, even learn like one. Remember R2-D2 in Star Wars, C-3PO? Brazil was 10 then.
I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I mean, they had personalities, they had friendships with people. I was just hooked.
Now 32, it's the basis of her doctorate thesis. There's already a computer-driven dog named Ibo and a walking humanoid, robots on assembly lines. But all of that is programmed, predictable responses. Kismet, put together for less than $50,000 with off-the-shelf computer components and tiny cameras to see with, 2 in the eyes, 1 in its nose, does more. Brazil wants Kismet to hear and speak, and when she puts it all together, learn. Dr. Rodney Brooks heads up MIT's Artificial Intelligence Lab.
The goal is to make it so that we can understand the machines and they can understand us, so we don't have to figure out how to, program the trash collecting robot and program the chauffeur robot.
Kismet's facial features are just cosmetic tricks. It could just as easily be flashing lights, but this way, people won't be intimidated.
You like me? Don't frown. I'm not trying to be rude. It's a machine. You can't talk to a machine.
Someday, Brazil wants robots to be our friends. Maybe. So long as you can always pull their plug. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Cambridge.
That robot has the same response to Roger O'Neill that we often do when he calls in. That's Nightly News for this Friday night. Don't forget Dateline tonight at 9, 8 Central Time. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you again Monday night.